that emerged from the reporting and ultimately ended up illuminating half the sky. One is the grimmer side of the picture. It goes to that article about that Afghan girl today. It goes to the fact that it's girls who are typically denied access to education. And we argue that just as in the 19th century, the central moral challenge for the world was slavery. And in the 20th century, the paramount moral challenge for the world was totalitarianism. In this century, we argue that the paramount moral challenge is the oppression that has blocked so many women and girls around the world. Now, when we say that, I think people often think that is meant as hyperbole, as an exaggeration, and it's really not. Really not. To explain why, I'm going to turn the tables on you, ask you a question. Are there more males or females in the world? Let's put this to a vote here. If you think there are more males in the world today, raise your hand. If you think there are more females in the world today, raise your hand. I'm afraid the first group is right. Both of them. There are actually more males in the world today. There are more females in the United States. There are more females in Europe. There are more females in Greece. Yeah. It's sounding kind of protesting in that. I don't want to interpret that too much. But given equal access to food and health care, women live longer. So in an equitable world, there would be more females. But the point is that it's not an equitable world. And that one gauge of inequity is, if you will, lethal discrimination. This is a picture I took in Ethiopia, emergency feeding center. You look at it, you see famine, you see hunger. But what you need to know is that every kid in that feeding center was a girl. And this girl's brothers, in fact, were doing just fine. And in much of the world, if you don't have enough food to go around, you feed your son, and you don't feed your daughter. When your son is sick, you take him to the doctor or to the clinic. When your daughter is sick, feel her forehead and say, well, let's see how you're doing tomorrow. And the result of that is a significant difference in mortality rates for boys and girls. On top of that differential in mortality rates, you also have, as ultrasound machines have spread and reached more and more of the world, you have a good deal of sex-selective abortion over the last couple of decades. These two things compounded together means, depending on what demographer it is in that, you have between 55 and 120 million missing females. That's why there are more males than females worldwide. And to slice it and dice it differently, in any 10-year period, you have more females who are discriminated against to death in that way than all the people who died in all the genocides of the 20th century. Just an astounding number. And when you think of it in those terms, I think it's easier to see why this would indeed rise to be the central moral challenge of the world today, in this century. Well, if that's one thing, the other one is a happier one, it's a more reassuring one. And it's if you put aside the injustices, if you simply look at a very pragmatic level about where you get leverage to bring about change, then it's the same thing. Educate girls, bring those educated women out of the formal labor force. It is striking to me in my reporting that, for example, in Afghanistan, some of the strongest advocates for girls' education have been American generals, American commanders, because they see that in districts where more girls go to school, where more women are literate, you have fewer Taliban attacks on American troops. So we get these American soldiers, in one moment they're ordering air attacks, the next moment they're trying to figure out how to get more girls to school.